I wonder if you could confirm for us who some of the people are in these photographs here. There's just take them one at a time. They have, if you recognize
That's
them.
me. That was quick, wasn't it?
What number? There's a number on the other side. What does it say?
It says H11.
H11.
Yeah, I'm smirking. Why am I smirking?
Noel Harlan. Any idea when that picture was taken? Can you guess?
Now that would be probably the...
Was it a graduation?
Yeah,
picture?
because my folks said I had to have a suit. And they bought that suit for me.
And that was graduation from?
Moffat at that time. Because see what happened here is you went to school here to the 6th grade. And then you went to Moffat.
So that would have been high school graduation.
Okay, wow, where'd you get all this stuff?
We got it in an outbuilding
Yeah,
behind Jack Harlan's house.
yeah, that's Grandma.
Okay, which number is that?
That's H4.
H4.
No, H4.
H4.
Yeah, that's my
And
grandma.
what is the name?
Her name is Laura, Laurab Harlan. Original name was Baxter. No, not Baxter. Oh, geez, I got tangled up. Bixler. Her original name was Bixler.
Okay, now, how is she related to you?
She's my grandmother.
Noel's grandmother.
1929.
So, Jack Harlan's mother.
Yes.
We have, the next one has a man's name on it. Wilson?
Yeah, that'd be my father. That'd be my grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah, that's who that is.
Do those things have dates on them?
He was this guy was one of those guys could handle, what did, I think they called him 8 in hand. Well, he could handle 8 teams at the same time. That's the reason he came into,
You mean an 8-horse team?
yeah.
Whoa.
That's the reason he came into the San Luis Valley, because they recruited him for that. It was 8 or 9, I think.
What kind of wagon would he?
It was a plow.
A plow?
Yeah,
Oh.
that was plowing that stuff. Yeah, that was him.
So he was a farmer, not a miner.
No, he would be a farmer. He would be a farmer. He came from Kansas. I think sounded like liberal Kansas, but I'm not sure. Okay.
These are all 1929.
Okay. The
this
stock
is-
market crash.
Yeah.
Right after.
Was that have to do anything with stocks and bonds?
The crash?
No, those books. It said something about bond on the cover. What does it say?
American Bond Sales Corporation.
That's what I'm thinking. That's the stock market.
Yeah, it crashed in 29. This is my dad.
Oh, which number is that?
That's H7.
H7.
Mhm.
Jack Harlan.
Yeah, his name was George.
Well, I know that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, I think this was...
was that an occasion, you think?
Well, he graduated from Monte Vista, and he graduated from Adams State. So I don't know whether this is a Monte Vista picture, or this is a Adams State picture. Which what is that? This looks like high school to you. Looks a little bit like high school to me. A youngster.
They wouldn't be nice and give us a year on that, would they?
Oh, this is, dang. I know this guy.
I hope so.
Dad's brother. His name was Bob.
Who's
His name was Robert, but they called him Bob. He died in California.
Was he your father's brother?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, there it is, Robert Harlan, Monte Vista. Yeah.
Robert or Bob.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that looks like a graduation picture also, actually. Don't you think?
He's got a smirk too.
He's got a great smile.
It's a family
That's a
smirk.
great
Yeah,
smirk.
it must
Can
be.
you do it?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, you need practice.
Yeah, I need practice. I'm not used to smirking.
Smirking. Did your father play baseball here in Crestone? Was he a baseball player?
No. Actually, he didn't even live in Crestone until he married my mother, Centella. And then he got a
Where
degree.
did he live?
What?
Where did he live?
Well, they lived in Monte Vista.
Okay.
But they met them in Alamosa when they were, when Mom was down there going to school in Alamosa.
Okay.
And then when they got married, they went to Sterling for a year. And then from Sterling, came back to, I got a picture of him in the book there, coming out of this building right here, I think.
So was Centella from Crestone?
Centella?
Yeah.
No, she was Noah Mayer's daughter.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that's the Crestone connection.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he moved up here to teach in this building for a while. Yeah. Crestone in those days was pretty cliquish,
Oh, yeah.
like small towns can get.
Mm-hmm. And it still is.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that we found in one of those outbuildings, there was a granddaughter that was selling the house. When was that?
That would be Kimberly.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was that? 6, 7 years ago?
Something like that, right, Mom?
Mm-hmm. 7 years.
Something like that.
And she didn't want any of the stuff in these sheds.
Well,
So Jim Homer and I guess Jim said, do you want to look at anything in this shed and see if it's museum type
I
stuff?
salvaged some stuff out of that myself. I got the old typewriter that was in the Pioneer store.
Really?
What's her name used to run that one? She had the store up at Teton.
Oh, Aunt Sarah.
No, yeah, it'd be Sarah Parker.
Sarah Park?
I got her catalog, her, what do you call it? Catalog, approximately 1918. It weighs 5 pounds.
So she still had the store in 1918?
Yeah, theoretically, the catalog doesn't say,
Oh.
but it's in that category.
We have the cash register from.
Yeah, well,
Pioneer store.
I donated it here,
You did?
and I hope I got my name on it.
Well, we got that from George Shearer.
Well, George came down and got it.
Okay. See, I didn't know where George had got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I also, somewhere in your museum, you got a big,
The Bellows, yes.
Bellows.
From Cleveland.
yeah, and I salvaged that one.
Yes, and I went down to your house in Alamosa and got it.
Is that nice?
So
Yeah.
I remember that part, but I didn't know where George had gotten either that cash register or that grocery scale.
Yeah,
The fancy thing.
yeah.
Latin from last.
Oh,
So that's, yeah, I got into that. I salvaged some stuff out of that.
you want to
Oh yeah,
ask a few?
yeah. So we were talking to Johnny Hayes earlier,
Right?
and just talking about what it was like early on in Crestone for
Right.
you. So pretty much want to start with that.
Well, you're talking about a bunch of free-ranging kids.
Mhm.
I mean, like today, kids are controlled. But in those days, it was gone after breakfast and get back at dinner time.
So when did you start working?
I started working right at probably freshman in high school. That was one of my hardest phone calls because I'm basically, till I started teaching, rather shy. I had to call Bernie Biggs in Moffat to get a job in a hayfield. And that's one of the things that was really, things stick out in your mind. And that, asking for a job was a really toughie. But we got it done. So, and with free ranging, we did, one of the things that we did a lot, we played a lot of cowboys and Indians. But the difference is now, it wasn't that graphic. When somebody gets shot and they'd fall over. Nowadays, the kids see someone get shot out and the blood goes everywhere.
Yes.
So they get a different impression,
Right.
you know.
Where would you play?
Oh, wherever we were. And here in this building, Johnny might have mentioned, we used to play alley-oop.
No.
You ever heard of alley-oop?
Well, it was still being used as a school, right?
Alley-oop?
Oh,
A game?
in this building.
A game, yeah, we played alley-oop.
What is alley-oop?
Well, basically what happens, you get a team on this side of the building, you get a team on this side of the building, and you have a ball. And you yell alley-oop, and you throw the ball over the building. They catch it, they come around with the ball and hit you, if they can catch you.
Version of tag, sort of.
But we called it alley-oop.
What if you didn't catch the ball on your side?
Well, you could pick it up, and it was the thing. And then we did a lot of Cowboys and Indians here, and then we played a lot of last man standing. You get a bunch of guys together, make a square, and you wrestle to the last man standing up.
Kind of the king of the hill.
Yeah,
You do
that
that
kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the wintertime, we played a lot of tops. I can show you where we played tops.
Spinning the top.
Yeah, you spin the top. And then in the summertime, we'd go down to the Grant and swim in our cow ponds with all the little things floating around in it. I won't mention what they are.
The little wiggly things.
So basically,
So you got a healthy immune system
yeah,
from growing up.
yeah. Then we did a lot, in the bicycling.
Mm-hmm.
I used to go down and play with my friend Jerry Burke, and I'd ride my bike down to the home ranch. And time to come home, I'd actually sort of push my bike back up, because pedaling back up that slope was a little tough.
Riding a bike in Crestone is very difficult.
Yeah, well, it makes good leg muscles.
Yes, it does.
Yes,
With
it
the sand.
does.
So who owned the ranch at that time?
That would be Alfred Collins.
Okay.
Alfred, maybe I shouldn't say this, but Alfred ran a peon system up here. In other words, everybody worked for Alfred in the summertime, putting up hay. And what Dad used to tell me, well, I can remember on Christmas Eve, Alfred would come up and it'd be this little fast exchange. And what he was doing, giving his workers bottles of alcohol, quart bottles. And Dad used to tell me, if he liked you, you got a whole quart. If he didn't like you, you got a pint. Now, he was an interesting fellow, because the first time I saw a gorilla, he used to go to Africa to hunt. Well, the first time I saw a gorilla, he had the black and white pictures, right? I don't know what is this room or that room. And here's this gorilla with this rifle. How they do it today, with this rifle leaning against the gorilla, and he's sitting there grinning. And that's the first time I ever saw a gorilla.
Was the gorilla alive?
No, it was dead.
Okay.
He was a trophy hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had and then on occasion there'd be a traveling movie.
So he showed the movies here in Crestone?
No, he didn't. It would be a traveling movie. In other words, a guy come in with a 16.
Yeah, the tent and everything, and then show
Yeah,
them
set it up. And the one I remember was Charge of the Light Brigade in black and white. And all jumpy, like those little things got.
They probably pulled a pretty good crowd.
The nearest theater would be Sawash,
Yeah.
so that would be a drive, especially when you're talking about dirt roads. So that was an expenditure of time. Think, got another question?
Do I? Oh, sure. What do you think about Mrs. Collins? Do you remember her first name?
Well,
'Cause we're all wondering that one,
I'll
too.
tell you what I remember about Mrs. Collins is that over there where some of those buildings are, there used to be a log, and you already know this story. There used to be a log church, and on Christmas Eve, the community would gather in this log church and have, the standard little skits for the kids and the sing song and stuff. You know what I'm talking about. And then that night, and I can't remember the fellow's name, he built the fire in the stove, and the log church caught fire. Well, and that point, up to that point, Mrs. Collins would go to Alamosa, and she'd buy every kid in Crestone a present and wrap it, and it'd be under the tree. Well, that night, all this burned down. So the next morning, Mrs. Collins went back to Alamosa, bought more presents, and redid it again over here. That's the kind of person she was.
Nice.
Where was the building that burned down? Was it here in Crescent?
Yeah, it was right over there. I can't tell you exactly where because there's a new house sitting on it. On it. There's a lot of-
It's not across the creek where the little
No, it's across.
little shepherd.
No, it's
lives?
across the street from that new grocery store. Whoever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
know
where
what
it
you're
was.
talking about.
That's
I
what it
remember
was.
that. Okay.
And then they used to have rodeos down there. I got a picture of the rodeo, I think, in there.
Yeah, I think my family had some of those pictures of them too. They used to do it up at where like the liquor store is now,
Yeah.
behind the bank,
Yeah.
the Venta place.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen some of those.
yeah.
And then Johnny was talking about the horse race up Galena, round the tree, back down.
Yeah. And it was. Listen, when I say that they had a peon, that Alfred, this was the community was a labor resource, you might call it that. And when they put up hay, you always had a job. But he didn't want to ask you so much. He expects you to go down there and put up hay.
But that's a seasonal job.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious how
Well,
seasonal was everything.
That's what he did. That was the summertime, and then during the winter, people had to find other sources of income. Like say, Pansy's Hall husband hung paper. Yeah, paper. What do you call these?
Paper hanger.
Yeah, that was one of the things that he did. Franklin Hoffman worked all year round down there at the Grant. So did Vanderpool. He worked all year round down there. See Vanderpool.
There was a bunker that worked up
Yeah, there's a bunker.
Was he a year-round guy also?
I don't remember the bunkers too much, to be truthful with you.
So when did you leave Crestone?
Well, the last time I left Crestone would be in '58. That was when I went to college, and then after that, you sort of go out.
And you didn't move back after
No.
that for any kind of time?
Well, we did. While she was waiting to give birth to one of our youngsters, we moved back up in the granddad's Harlan's house for a bit. That was after I got a teaching job, so there was money coming in.
So you didn't see the grants spring up into a big housing
It was
community?
no. That's all. That's all brand new. That was all brand new.
Did it kind of surprise you that it happened?
Well, remember the old saying, you can't go home again?
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah.
So when we moved back from Uray, I didn't really want to come back here, mainly because there was not much for me to do. I drove a school bus. So there was something to do down there rather than sit around up here on there. And my folks, my grand folks came from, I think, around Liberal, Kansas. And he came to Mosca, Hooper area to farm. And he farmed grain, according to my brother. And he'd take his grain up to Duncan and sell his grain to the miners. But he got hooked. He got the bug.
The mining bug?
Yeah.
Oh, gold fever.
Yeah. So he stayed in Duncan until they were evicted. Now you know that story. Okay, after they went evicted, they went down to Liberty, where he established a mine. And then after Liberty, they came to Crestone. I think they came into the valley about 1898. But they didn't come in on a train because it was too expensive, so they used a wagon. That's,
When did Teton and Liberty and Duncan?
that would be something you'd have to read my dad's book, Teton. There's not much up there, but piles of, well, I don't know whether even in piles. We used to go around and roam around there and pick up artifacts.
There's no obvious piles anymore.
They've been pretty picked.
Oh, sure. Well,
But there's a foundation of a mill there.
Oh,
a
yeah.
small mill.
yeah. Yeah, there were some operations, and there was a big operation down at Cottonwood.
Mhm.
That's the reason the train came in.
Mhm.
Is because that was a big, it was a barrel, instead of stamp mill, it was a barrel system. There's a picture of it in there somewhere.
Oh,
Is-
ball crusher.
Yeah, and you used to be able to go down there and pick up those metal balls.
Those slags?
What?
Those slag-looking balls?
They're flat.
Yeah, I've found a few of those. They,
Yeah.
they really look like a rock until you
Yeah.
get really close to one, and it's really heavy, and it's just a
And
strange
the old
looking
timers,
thing.
the old timers said that when that mill was working, you couldn't hear anything
Yeah.
because of all that tumbling.
Oh, really?
I always wondered what Crestone sounded like back in the days when there was blasting, stamping, all that stuff, the mills running, all that.
And you-
Those mills were 5 miles south of town.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about Crestone, but there was those are the people who lived in Cottonwood.
Oh, right.
Cottonwood used to be called Lanark.
But not for long.
Really?
No, because
So with Sangre de Cristo,
there was some changes involved. So basically, that's the reason we're in the valley, because the folks came here. But we left Uray because it was scary over there and it got real expensive.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm trying to say?
yes.
So we moved back. To Alamosa, you could buy in pretty easy compared to over there. But I liked it over there. I drove Jeep tours,
Oh,
listened to all those guys, scare them on the hillside. Yeah, that was fun.
Do you have any driving memories out here?
Well, not really, because there wasn't a lot here. The only thing I had an old 28 Chevrolet Jalopy, used to run around, but you get down in the sand and,
Oh, stuck.
and then you get up, like the road up to South Crestone Creek, that really wasn't a road, it was a mining road. I mean, now the Forest Service has it worked out, and that's up there. So we used to go up there, and I used to spend a lot of time roaming around these little canyons, picking up stuff. Didn't wonder why I picked it up.
well, you picked up bellows somewhere.
Yeah, it was in a collapsed blacksmith shop. Actually, what I was doing was taking a nap. I got tired and got hot, so I got in and just crawled in this thing and took a nap and woke up and said, "Wow, there's a bellows here." So I drug it home. It took a little work, but I got it done.
Did you have the truck by
I
then?
had that little 28 Chevrolet,
Okay.
but I couldn't drive it up in there. I had to leave it at the mouth of the canyon, and I lugged it down there.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I was pretty much mountain type folks. And when I got older, I worked for the Forest Service because it was mountains. Got to go in the mountains. Got to camp out 11,000 feet and got paid for it. That's pretty cool.
It's nice. Nice work if you can get it.
Yeah.
Do you remember there being a
Kids
lot-
don't do that anymore.
Do you remember when they ran sheep up these mountains like Dimmock Gulch?
No,
That would have been
no.
50s maybe?
But you might recall the town herd.
I don't know anything about it.
Well, they used to be a town herd. In other words, the herd was free to roam around town, and they kept the weeds down, and that was it.
What years was that happening?
Well, that would be in the 40s and the 50s.
Was it sheep?
No, cows,
Cow.
and they could roam around at will.
Just eat.
Yeah.
Do you remember it being a lot more green back then, or a lot more?
Well, I don't remember whether it was much more green or not, but Crestone was a major Indian encampment. If you go up there east of the house, which I still call the house, there's a hump up there. and you used to be able to go up there and find chips and arrowheads. And that was, see, the Ute Indians always camped up somewhere so they could see. And there's this hillock up there. I used to go up there and pick up flint chips and some arrowheads. And that was right up there, sort of cattywampus from the house. And that was one of the Ute Indian encampments.
In your mind, is that hump a natural feature, or is it?
Yeah, it's
a man-made
natural.
thing?
No, it's natural. It was just an outcropping.
Is it the sandy hill at the beginning of the Jeep Trail?
I don't know. I haven't been up in that country for a long time, so. But there
No,
was.
this is a hill that's made of gravel, like,
No, it was sand
It's the
oh,
sand.
it's sand.
Right up there by Heidi's old cabin.
somewhere in there.
A hill of sand
Oh yeah.
out in the middle of nowhere.
No, it's at the base of the mountains, right at the north.
Sounds like he knows where it is.
But I've never found anything up there. But I haven't been looking.
It's been so picked.
Yeah.
My
Oh,
family
yeah.
has picture frames full of picture frames of arrowheads and arrowhead, thousands of them.
Right.
So it's hard to find them now.
There's supposed to be another Indian Ute camp down there, somewhere down there, but I never did find it.
It's like behind the water sanitation district thing now. That
Somewhere
little
in
sand
that
hill.
area.
I've heard some good picking was happening.
You know, I don't know. I never did find that place, but I really never did look for it either.
Did you ever know people who knew Utes?
No.
No.
You know the old stories
No.
about Duncan, right?
No.
Yeah, Duncan. Well, the folks up here used to, the Utes used to camp next to them. Oh boy,
Shell bars.
shelter burners. And then one of the stories that Dad relates is one night the Arapahoes were in the valley, and outside of it, you know where his cabin is. Yeah, you do. You go right past it. John Duncan's cabin.
Oh, it's still there.
Oh yeah, they refurbished it.
Right.
Well, right next to it was a pine tree. And one night there was all this noise, and he went out. Well, he actually didn't go out. He waited till the next morning, and he went up there, and there was this burial up there. So he moved the burial to another tree, thinking there might be some response there. But if you take a look at the old cabin, right down left of the door, there's a little hole like that, like a gun port.
Okay.
All right. Now, when they restored the cabin, the gun port's gone. You see what I'm trying to say? He had, in my opinion, he had some considerations about that. And it's square. You can stick a rifle out of it. But when I looked at the new refurbished cabin, that log is gone. The reason it's gone, probably didn't want critters going in it.
Exactly.
But there's a little titch of history there. Little item.